Area 51. Its name is infamous worldwide, but its true secrets were known only to a select few. Deep in the Nevada desert, where the sun scorches the earth, there was a facility that wasn't just a hub for alien technology. It was a gateway to a parallel dimension. The government called it the Black Star Nexus, a portal that broke the laws of time and space. Inside this portal lay an entire world, hiding traces of alien civilizations and terrifying experiments. David Cross, a 32-year-old software engineer, worked at a cybersecurity company in Los Angeles. He grew up in the outskirts of Las Vegas, where, as a kid, he'd often see strange lights and UFOs in the night sky. People called him crazy, but his mom, Elaine, a retired Air Force pilot, always told him, "David, there are things in this world beyond our understanding." One day, Elaine handed him an old encrypted USB drive. Scratched on it were 3 words: Project Helix, find the Nexus. She said, "This was your father's work. He gave his life for it." David's dad, a scientist who worked at Area 51, had vanished when David was just 10 years old. David plugged the USB into his laptop and started decrypting it. With every cracked code, his heart pounded harder. Inside was a video of his father, Dr. Alan Cross, speaking in a lab. "If you're seeing this message, the Nexus has awakened," he said. "You have to shut it down, or the world will be destroyed." Before the video ended, there was an explosion, and the screen went black. David's head spun. He decided he'd go to Nevada and unravel this mystery himself. The file also contained a clue, a code revealing the coordinates of an old underground facility where Project Helix began. David had a gut feeling his mom was hiding something, especially since she kept warning him, "You shouldn't go there." After fully decrypting the file, David learned that Project Helix wasn't just a scientific experiment. It was a dangerous plan to fuse human DNA with alien genetic code, creating super soldiers capable of fighting not just on Earth, but across the multiverse. One name kept popping up in the file: Dr. Caleb Monroe, a rogue scientist who'd stolen something from Area 51 and gone on the run. According to the file, Caleb had taken a key that controlled the Nexus portal, but no one knew where Caleb was. There was another mystery. The file contained symbols in an alien language, completely unfamiliar to David. They swirled in his mind like fragments of an old dream. David scoured the internet and found clues about Caleb on a conspiracy theorist's blog. The blog claimed Caleb was hiding in a small Nevada town called Rachel. David quit his job, grabbed a backpack, and headed for Rachel. There, he connected with a local guide named Rico, an ex-Marine who now took tourists to restricted zones near Area 51. When David mentioned the Helix protocol, Rico's face went pale. "My brother Diego was a guard at Area 51, he said. "One night he called me and said, 'Rico, the Nexus is awake. This is the end of the world.' After that, he disappeared." Rico revealed that his brother had a device that could track the Nexus frequency. He still had it, but didn't know how to use it. David suspected the device was tied to his father's research. In a bar in Rachel, David and Rico were confronted by a group of mercenaries working for Area 51. They were after David because the USB's data had been traced to government servers. A brutal fight broke out outside the bar. David used his martial arts training, while Rico showed off his military skills. One mercenary lunged at David with a knife, but David dodged and disarmed him, snatching the knife. After the fight, Rico grinned and said, "You're not just a coder, are you?" David smirked. "Some old training came back to me." David and Rico found an old tunnel near Rachel that led beneath Area 51. The tunnel was shrouded in darkness and fear. With every step, they heard strange noises, like a machine or a creature breathing. At the tunnel's end was a high-tech facility, crawling with automated drones and genetically modified guards. David and Rico used stealth to slip through, but a laser grid blocked their path. David hacked the grid with his coding skills, but it triggered an alarm. A squad of enhanced guards attacked them. These weren't humans. They were failed experiments from the Helix protocol, with neon green eyes and strength beyond human limits. David and Rico fought together, but Rico took a bullet to the arm. David grabbed a guard's robotic arm and slammed it into a wall. Then, a containment chamber's door shattered, and David fell inside. The chamber was filled with vials of Helix serum, and in an accident, one injected into David's body. The serum burned through him, rewriting his DNA. Flashes of alien wars, destroyed planets, and a strange voice saying, "Well, you are chosen," flooded his mind. When he came to, he realized his body wasn't the same. He now had time-slow perception, the ability to see time slowed down, hyper-strength, and quantum phase shifting, the ability to teleport through space. But there was a terrifying side effect. Alien memories were seeping into his mind, as if another entity was awakening inside him. When David emerged from the chamber, he saw his father's name etched on the wall, along with a message. "David, if you've made it this far, you must shut down the Nexus. But remember, every sacrifice comes at a cost." The words echoed in his mind. Was his father part of Helix too? David began to understand his new powers. Every cell in his body was now a weapon. Rico dubbed him Black Helix because his powers came from the Helix serum, yet his humanity still burned within. But every power came with a price. Whenever David used his quantum shifting, he was hit with alien flashbacks, terrifying wars, ruined planets, and a voice whispering, "You belong to us." He started to suspect the Helix serum wasn't just alien DNA. It was planting a conscious entity inside him. Meanwhile, a villain emerged, General Elias Thorne, a corrupt military officer extracting energy from the Nexus. Thorne's goal was to build an army of hybrid soldiers to conquer the multiverse. He'd kidnapped Dr. Caleb Monroe and was forcing him to unlock the secrets of the Nexus key. David and Rico made a plan to find Caleb, but they learned Area 51 had activated a new defense system called the Omega Protocol, designed to annihilate any intruder. David and Rico faced off against Omega Protocol drones, armed with laser weapons and AI-controlled movements. David used his time-slow perception to dodge a laser and teleported behind a drone with quantum shifting, crushing its core with his hyper-strength. Rico took out other drones with a grenade launcher, but a blast caused the ground to collapse beneath him, and he nearly fell. David caught him and said, "We're finishing this together." During the fight, David found a terminal showing an old video of his mom, Elaine, talking to General Thorne. She said, "If the Nexus opens, it's the end of us all." Questions swirled in David's mind. Was his mom part of this conspiracy? David and Rico formed a rebel team. Maya, a stealth hacker who'd worked with David at the cybersecurity company in Los Angeles. She wanted to expose Area 51's cover-ups because her journalist brother had disappeared while investigating there. Griggs, a former Navy SEAL and Rico's old friend who joined to save the world from an alien invasion with his combat skills. Lydia, Dr. Caleb Monroe's biochemist daughter, who wanted to rescue her kidnapped father and knew the secrets of the Nexus key. The team came together because Maya's hacking skills, Griggs's combat expertise, and Lydia's scientific knowledge were critical to the mission. They devised a plan to reach the core of Area 51, where the Nexus portal was open. Inside, an alien species called the Zorathians was preparing to invade Earth. Thorne's experiments had awakened them. In the heart of Area 51, an epic battle erupted. Zorathian warriors with metallic bodies and telepathic powers attacked David's team. David used his quantum shifting to teleport behind a Zorathian and slammed it into the ground with hyper strength. Maya hacked the facility's security system, turning turrets against the Zorathians. Griggs destroyed a giant Zorathian mech with his rocket launcher. But during the fight, an alien blade pierced Rico's chest, and he collapsed. David lifted him and said, "You're not dying, brother. We're ending this together." David found Caleb Monroe in a lab, working on the Nexus key. Caleb explained that the only way to shut down the Nexus was to insert the key into the portal's core and destroy it. But to do so, David would have to sacrifice his human emotion, guilt, fear, and attachments, because the key would overload his helix power. David noticed Caleb was also a hybrid, but his powers were unstable. When David asked about his father, Caleb revealed that Dr. Alan Cross had tried to shut down the Nexus but got trapped inside the portal. Caleb also disclosed that Elaine, David's mom, was a founding member of Project Helix, but left when she realized Thorn was using it to seize control of the world. Elaine gave David the USB to finish his father's mission. To reach the Nexus portal's core, David and his team faced General Thorn, who'd transformed into a hybrid himself. Powered by Nexus energy, Thorn's armor made him nearly invincible. A brutal fight broke out. Thorn unleashed energy blasts, but David dodged them with time-slow perception and teleported behind him with quantum shifting, shattering Thorn's armor with hyper strength. Thorn retaliated, sending David flying with an energy pulse. Blood streamed from David's body as he hit the ground. Then, Lydia activated an EMP device, temporarily disabling Thorn's armor. David seized the moment and delivered a final blow, bringing Thorn down. But the Nexus portal was still open, and the Zarathian army was pouring out. David took the key from Caleb and reached the portal's core. He inserted the key, but before the process could begin, he had to sacrifice his emotions. David thought of his mom, Rico, and his childhood memories, then let them go. The key activated, and the portal began to collapse. David pushed his team out of the portal, but got trapped in a dimensional loop himself. His final words were, "Humanity deserves to survive, not dominate." As the portal collapsed, an energy wave spread across the world, neutralizing the Helix serum's effects. It revealed that David's father had made the same sacrifice, and his consciousness was still inside the Nexus. David's sacrifice saved not just Earth, but the entire multiverse. When it was all over, General Thorn faced a public trial and was sentenced to death. Area 51 was shut down, and the government claimed it was just a failed experiment. But the real truth stayed hidden. Lydia, Maya, and Griggs founded the Black Helix Foundation to track any technology or superhumans that could threaten humanity. Rico, who survived the battle, started a training academy for new operatives, his spirit unbroken despite his injuries. Maya created a digital construct of David, preserving his memories and personality. Lydia secured her father Caleb's research and launched a new biotech program prioritizing ethics. Caleb told her that David's sacrifice created a new balance in the Nexus, ensuring the Zarathians could never return. A year later, a signal matching David's helix frequency was detected in the snowy forests of Alaska. Lydia monitored it, and the screen displayed a single message: "Not dead, just waiting." The team discovered that the Nexus collapse had created a new micro-dimension where David's consciousness still existed. Unraveling this dimension became the Black Helix Foundation's next mission. One night, Lydia watched an old video left by Elaine. In it, Elaine said, "David, if you're seeing this, you've shut down the Nexus. But remember, the Nexus was only the beginning. There are other portals in the multiverse, and you are the answer to them all." After the video ended, Lydia detected a new signal on her computer, a second Nexus, now activating in Antarctica. She smiled and said, "David, we're bringing you back." And so, this story reaches its end. The tale of an underdog hero who wasn't just searching for his true identity, but fighting to save humanity's future. David Cross didn't just write his own destiny by becoming a superhuman. He buried Area 51's centuries-old secrets for good. He didn't just win a forgotten war. He sealed a nexus that was forever poised to unleash darkness. Now, as the world sleeps peacefully, there's a name that still lives on somewhere: Black Helix. His journey isn't over. He's just waiting for the right moment to return. when the world needs him most. If you loved this story, drop a comment, hit like, share, and subscribe. And if you've got another mystery for us to spin into a story, let us know in the comment. Until next time, goodbye and take care.